Here we've got the Form 5th Gen 4Runner LED headlight assemblies. This is a new offering by Form. We'll be doing a full review today on this 5th Gen 4Runner. It's got the factory halogen headlight assemblies, factory halogen fogs. This is how they came up until like 2021 or 2020. I think they started coming with LEDs then. So yeah, this is gonna be an awesome upgrade because the 5th Gen 4Runner throughout the whole thing never had any daytime running lights, and there's a few options on the market. There are some Morimoto headlight assemblies, there's some Lightwerkz, Anzo, a lot of different assemblies for the 5th Gen, but 5th Gen is such a popular platform, Form decided to release something new. These have some cool features, we'll get into that in just a moment, but this is the way they look. They are 100% plug and play, and if you need adapters for I believe a 21 Plus, they do have adapters to make it work. You're included a harness into the fuse box that'll make the daytime running lights work. They come with the amber side markers by default, gloss black housings, and a few other features, but we'll get into that in just a moment. This is the way they look, and again, they'll be going on this. We'll do a review of the output, the performance, what you can expect before and after when you're upgrading to these new assemblies. But stay tuned, we'll get to you in just a moment. Okay, these are the headlights, these are the low beams, and the fog lights are on. We'll also be upgrading the fog light assemblies to the Diodynamics Elite series in yellow, but this review is mainly for the headlight assemblies. We've done a lot of the Elite series, you can see that in some of our other videos, get an idea, but we'll briefly describe what's going on. And again, when the low beams are on, the daytime running lights come through the high beam at reduced power. I'm not showing that right now. It's kind of outdated and kind of, less desirable these days. People are looking for that LED strip or something that makes it look modern. The running light, that's the parking light, is on the side here. Also doubles as a turn signal. And you can see these lenses are a little bit worn down. It's pretty normal. This vehicle's got well over 100,000 miles. It's definitely time for an upgrade in terms of front end upgrade. So show you the output. We can kind of analyze it, see what's going on. Toyota does use a side mount projector. These are pretty good with HID systems, LED bulbs. There's a ton of different bulbs that people use on these. They're all right. This system isn't, anywhere near the performance levels of anything that we can retrofit. But as far as custom lighting goes, switching to a full assembly is probably the way that most people are going to go on the 5th Gen 4Runner due to the design. It's least favorable to, get it upgraded with a different projector. So as far as assemblies go, this is a good path forward. And we'll take a look at the output right now. Okay, again, this is lows and fogs. I'm showing you the fogs because that is part of our video today. The fog lights are pretty standard. They're not gonna do much for when we compare the low beams, but I'll leave them off for this part of the review. You can tell very center weighted projectors. The camera's picking it up to be much brighter than it actually is. It's actually not that bright. It's okay. It's got an interesting output, but most of the intensity is in the center, which is where you need it, right down the road. It does have a little bit of light above the cutoff. You can see that faint area above it. It's not enough to blind anybody, not enough to cause any glare, but it is there. So you can check out the output. I've got a lux meter in my hand. That meter will measure the lux, the intensity of the light, and we're at our testing distance of 25 feet. And we'll get you a live reading right now and just see kind of where we end up for intensity on our before. I saw high 195s, so almost 200. Let's see if the other side's operating or a little bit better. Just right in line, about 200 lux. 200 lux on each side at 25 feet. That's okay. I mean, pretty much expected for halogen. We'll show you what we get once we're all done. But yeah, stay tuned. We'll get right to it. Okay, on the driver's side, I got the new Form assembly. That's the parking light mode. So when the low beams are on, the upper and lower DRLs will be running, and on the side you'll have the amber side marker light. but you can see how clean of a look that is. Very modern, very fresh. Show you the output. I like to leave one light installed at this distance, especially at 25 feet, so we can dial in the height perfectly. And if the customer states that it was too high or too low and they like to tweak it, we go from there. But I like to set it to the original height. And that's why I leave one light on for comparison, but also just to get it dialed in to the original height. All right, so here are both lights on. The form light definitely has a really tall step compared to the stock. Could be a good or bad thing, depending on what you're looking for. You may need to align that a little bit lower than usual, especially if you're lifted, just because of the tall step. But that is a quick difference between the form and the halogen assembly on the passenger side. We'll get both of these installed and we'll be able to wrap up this part of the comparison and get you guys some information. All right, so everything's been installed now. We're gonna show you one of the cool features of these lights. Other lights have a startup feature, but the form lights kind of have their own. So we're gonna show you, demonstrate it. Anytime you key the light, key the ignition on, this will show you what's called a startup sequence, kind of like an activation light they call it. And it just kind of goes back and forth until it stabilizes in the daytime running light. And that is our full-on daytime running light mode. And that's what's giving us the brightest of the daytime running lights, the brightest of the LED strip in terms of the intensity. We'll turn the lights on now. And that strip does diffuse and dim slightly. It's got triple projectors, as we saw before, but the inner one is a high beam only. And then we installed those Dynamics Elite Series fogs, which if you want to see more on those, you can definitely check out the YouTube or watch other videos. We definitely have a lot of content on the Elite Series, but we'll show you the output in just a moment of the whole setup. But you can see how much more modern the whole front end looks like now that the new fogs and the new headlight assemblies have been installed. So we put the hazards on to show you the sequential style turn signals. And I really like that fluid motion that these offer. These are a little bit different. They have a nice, kind of like a white diffuser above the upper and lower rows of the daytime running light, and that also doubles as the turn signal. So it definitely gives you a cool look. It's a sweeping motion, and that's what you call a sequential style turn signal. So nice and modern. All right, now that we've taken a look at the features and the looks, we'll go right into the performance. Check out the beam, analyze the beam distribution, talk a little bit more about what's going on here. So Elite Series fogs in yellow. They also come in white. They are aligned to a factory height. These can be adjusted if you'd like, but those provide a nice defined cutoff. You got a nice cool white color. It's just typical of aftermarket LED headlight assemblies. This is probably one of the thickest color bands I've seen on aftermarket assemblies. It's a tall step. Again, that's preference. I think I would prefer a shorter step, but some people might find use in a tall step. But these lights are categorized by a really deep, rich, bluish purple color at the cutoff and a tall step. Intensity wise, we'll take a reading shortly. You can see the distribution's a little bit different than the factory setup. Let's see. So if you go over to the passenger side, okay, about 300 lux. We were hitting just shy of 200 originally. Not a huge increase. It is measurable overall. I think if you're starting with the factory OEM LED assemblies, probably not something I'd recommend. So far, only the Morimotos have exceeded the performance in terms of sheer intensity of the OEM LED setup. You can check that out in one of our other videos. All the other lights seem to kind of fall short of the OEM LEDs that were introduced in 2021. So I think that's the straight up data here that we're seeing. These lights are cool. They have nice fit features, functions, all the cool stuff. In terms of sheer intensity, they're not going to exceed what we see on the Morimotos, but the price point also reflects that. So you might have a preference and you might like these assemblies better. There's a lot of customers that choose the Forum assemblies over some of the other products, and it's your choice. But let us know what you think about these new assemblies for the 4Runner. They do have the selectable daytime running lights, white and amber. Didn't go into the amber in this video. Customer wanted to keep it white, but that is easily changed over if you want to get an amber daytime running light. But anyway, leave a comment below. We look forward to hearing what your thoughts are, and contact us if you need to get set up with a LED assembly set on your 5th Gen 4Runner, or if you have another vehicle that we offer products for, we can definitely help you out.